Hi, my name is Mr. Matt Weaney, and I'm going to describe to you 5 key components to help engage your students in the maths classroom. And the acronym that I use for this is PHATT. The first component is P for physical. One of my top students really struggled with problems like these. 2D representations of 3D problems. That's extremely hard for them to deal with, so why not give them physical copies to hold? When teaching area and volume, for example, a question I like to use is, how many tennis balls fill a shoebox? How many footballs fill a wheelie bin? Etc. And actually give them a football, give them a tennis ball and a wheelie bin or whatever it might be to measure and really get a feel for the subjects that they're dealing with. H is for humour. Now, I'm in no way expecting people to be absolutely hilarious. We can't all do that all the time. However, you can bring novel ideas into your classroom. For example, one puzzle that I ran was, how many apples fill a pumpkin? And the prize? A pumpkin full of apples. But then you can get into more detailed questions like Fermi problems, like how many cars on the M50 on a Thursday afternoon at 5 o'clock? What's the speed of a fart? How many days till Christmas? Questions that just require them to think outside the box and be a little bit more creative. A is for active. We all know what it's like to be in an inefficient meeting where one person is doing all the talking and everyone else is just listening. I'm talking about getting them out of their seats, measuring, estimating, standing up, working together. That's going to increase their motivation and improve their engagement in the lessons. Some lessons that I like to use are juggling quadratic equations, the Barbie bungee jump, and getting them to figure out how many chairs stacked on top of each other reaches the top of the spire. The first T is for technology. I'm all about getting them using technology and developing their soft skills because we know that's what people in the future are going to need. Some examples that we all know, well, GeoGebra is of course king. But why not use it to get them to figure out different functions and then dance the shape of those functions? Another one we might use is the equations tool on Microsoft PowerPoint or Microsoft Word, where they realize BIMDAS really does matter. So it's these small things where learning takes place unknown to themselves. And lastly, T is for teams. Not everybody is going to be the next Katherine Johnson or Paul Erdos, but everybody can bring something to a team. You can have a thinker, a speaker, a timekeeper, whatever it might be. You can assign them different roles and they will learn some elements that will stand to them in the future. Having a team allows you to become competitive against each other. But on top of that, you can set problems which have a low floor and a high ceiling, meaning that everybody's able to engage in them in some way, but the top students can really excel and push the boundaries too. So they're the 5 components that I feel help create engaging, interesting lessons. Now, I'm not saying all of my lessons are like this. Some of them are. About once a month, I try to do a lesson where I really engage them with fun maths. On top of that, I do feel that we as teachers need to collaborate a little bit more. So I'd love to get in contact with other maths teachers and maybe come up with new ideas that we find work in our classroom. I have no problem people contacting me. You can find me on all social media platforms under the name Mr. Matt Weaney.